Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
After some impressive record-breaking rain just yesterday, we'll continue to see these showers as we head into the day today. Flood watch in place as more heavy showers are going to be moving in. Some thunderstorms prompting some gusty winds. And then we're just in this wet pattern as we head through the next several days. You see these showers that'll be rolling through as we head into the afternoon. It's not going to be a total washout, but definitely be aware of some of these showers, especially on top of the already saturated ground, because that is where those flood concerns come into place. Stay safe out there. Always remember, turn around, don't drown. Here's some additional rainfall that we're expecting. This is through 7 p.m. on Friday, as we are anticipating this wet pattern to stick around for the next several days. The wet pattern sticking around for many as we take a look at your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. For the next several days, we're tracking showers and thunderstorms from Washington, D.C. to Chicago to Tampa as well. Myrtle Beach, though, getting to enjoy the sun. So your panhandle forecast, we're tracking showers and thunderstorms today. Temperatures also going to be up into the 80s as we head into our Wednesday afternoon. Pittsburgh, 82 degrees. Otherwise, we're looking at Petersburg, 87. Davis, 74 degrees. Kingwood a little bit cooler too, 79 degrees. Otherwise, 80s for Parkersburg, 83 degrees. Petersburg, 87 degrees. Charleston, 86 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. But those temperatures staying in those mid 80s through Friday as showers and thunderstorms are set to continue. This weekend, though, could see a little bit of break from the rain before we do see some additional shower activity as we head into next week. Have a great rest of your day.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. For your entertainment, Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Or call 800-765-8255. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
Oh, I forgot to give you the substitute foul. Matt does that stuff automatically, man. What's up with that?
Man, I just got back from my break.
That's right. And you're the midday producer, I guess, right? Officially. Oh, anyway, thanks for tuning into the program. Dave is still out for a couple of days. He'll be back on Monday. I'm Dale Cooper. And this is Wednesday on Metro News Hotline. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we have another great show for you today. Going to hear from Woody Woods here in a minute or two. Woody will be coming in here. The Beat in Charleston is having their annual backpack attack where they give away backpacks to kids in the community, where you can line up now, as a matter of fact. No previous registration or anything available that you had to have. You can line up at 1111 Virginia Street. You go around our parking lot. You get school supplies from that line in the parking lot, and that's something that the Beat has done for the community here in Charleston for years now. And we're going to talk to Woody about that in just a few minutes. Looking forward to hearing from Woody. It's been a little while since we've had him on the show, so it'll be pretty good to hear from Woody. Ryan Nicholson is my producer today, as him and Matt play a little bit of musical chairs with the different assignments that we have around here. How you doing today? You all right, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's Wednesday, hump day, pretty lively day of the week. Was very happy to see I got a confirmation email from Abrar Al-Heeti earlier. So we're going to have Abrar on for a tech segment coming up at 4:30 at her normal spot. Always looking forward to that because there's so much stuff that's going on in the tech world these days. Mm-hmm. It's really crazy. And she has some stories that's going to kind of dovetail into some things I have later on in or out and different things like that too. So that's always good stuff to look into. And The other thing that we have going on today that I think will be pretty interesting is we'll have on both Steve Cotton, the play-by-play voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd, and also have on Tony Caridi, the play-by-play voice of the West Virginia Mountaineers. So we'll get football from both of those directions today as the show goes along here today. We will also have on Anthony Lewis. He'll be on in the 5 o'clock hour. I look forward to having him on. And Jeff Erickson will be up later on in this hour as we talk a little bit about fantasy sports. So all those things are coming up on the program today. We're going to have a fun time doing that. Ryan and I might even have a moment to work in a little bit of pick ones. So we'll see how that works out. That's what I'm hoping might take place. Woody Woods from 107.3 The Beat joins me now, having the annual backpack attack outside of the parking lot here at 11 Virginia Street. Man, I know that you're happy, but also I know that it's these are crazy days.
They're here. They're here. When we wake up and we want to do the job that we're supposed to do for our community. Before we get into that, Coop, I don't drink coffee, but somebody left me coffee.
That's
yours?
mine. Yeah, sorry about that.
I thought somebody. No, I was gonna drink it.
You can have it if you need it. You probably need it right now.
Coffee. No.
You can have it. It's brand new coffee.
But this is what I was thinking about, Coop, driving over here earlier today, man. It's been 19 years, so this year we might hit 3 generations. We might hit grandma.
Man, you're right.
We might hit daughter. We might hit granddaughter. So, and. It's wild to think about that.
You're right, man. You're right.
And I said this on Dave's show earlier. I don't think it's been a longer radio promotion in the state that's been consistent.
I've wondered about that.
We did it during COVID.
Yep, I remember. We did. Social
distancing.
So 6 feet apart, getting the absolutely. We did. We put masks in the dang thing.
Yes, we did. So we had 19 years outside our radio station, and we know. And I'm in the streets, man. I see the. It's a lot of backpack giveaways. We know that we just want to be part of the community that serves us, and we want to serve our community. And sometimes we got to meet people where they're at. Like I went over to Family Care Health Center. They had an event last Saturday, and I took some backpacks there because some people can't reach our East End that's on the west side. So we just want to meet people where they're at, Coop, and try to do the right thing, brother.
I got to tell you, this is one of those, and we have a lot of benchmark promotions we do every year, and a lot of them are for people. I mean, we do the snack drops and the turkey drops and different things like that. I mean, we do the Halloween for the kids.
Right.
The Beat's been doing that for years as well. Another long-running promotion. There's just been something about the backpacks ever since I've been back here. There's just something about that. Now that I have an 8-year-old as well, she always gets one usually as soon as everybody else does. But there's just something about the fact that you're serving kids. There's nothing else there. Like parents might go home and eat your Halloween candy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that everybody does that. I mean, but it might happen. It might happen.
I do it.
And kids might even be like, "Oh man, you ate my Halloween candy." But generally speaking, you're not going to your kids backpacking their stuff. That's going to be their stuff, and it's stuff that's going directly to them to help. If not at school, directly at home. Because I mean, a lot of kids have their tablets and their phones and stuff, but sometimes you're trying to just find a notebook or a piece of paper or a pen or something like that. You can't find it.
And I'm glad you said that, Coop, because when Mr. P took over, we took on the brand as we're proud to live here too. And we are proud to live here too. Like we're not bigger than anyone. We're not superstars. We're regular people just like me and you. Got kids that got homework, that got teachers, that need backpacks. And like you said, they might not use their paper and pen at school. At home, I make sure my kids write out their homework. I make sure we're not on the iPad. We got some work on the iPad, but mostly we're doing old school work. My kids can write in cursive.
Right.
Because I think cursive is very important. I think it might come back. How do you sign your name?
Right.
Even if you're doing it with the virtual pen, you got to sign it.
My wife's big on that too. She's making sure Essie learns to write.
Essie, the smartest, was second grader. She's really supposed to be in the 7th.
It's something, I don't know. She was on here yesterday. I'll have to send it to you. It was pretty cute. I had her on here yesterday.
I love Essie, man, and we love this community. We and it takes all of us. I know 107.3 The Beat get credit for it, but it's all of us from the front desk to the engineering to the cleaning crew to traffic, because we're trying to service 300 kids and make sure it's right. We got Baskin Robbins out there. That's new.
That's good. Yeah, that is new. That is good.
The Clay Center is bringing over a bus that they can jump on this Clay Center thing and see that. That's new. So we're just trying to involve.
That is very
this
cool.
Thing.
Yeah, that's good stuff,
man.
Tell me just briefly. We're doing the backpack attack today, and for folks that maybe haven't seen the Beat out in the street recently, although you're always out in the street, recently you had a little bit of a brand change as far as the collars go. Man, it looks sharp, man. I got people on TV can see this. It's the new color scheme is purple and gold. It looks fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's a little. We rebranded the station. We call it like throwbacks and hip hop, and that's what we play. We play a lot of throwbacks. So if you're a '90s baby, you're an '80s baby, you're a 2000s baby, you're gonna love. I don't want to call it the new beat because I'm old and I'm still there, but it's a little rebranding, man.
Yeah,
We looked at the
hear
music. We looked at the music. Shout out to Logan. He looked at the shift of how music is going, and most people, even younger folks, that's 16 and 17, they're listening to 2000s music. So that's where we at, man. We got a new logo that's purple and gold and black.
Looks good, man.
This one's sweaty.
Yeah,
but I'm
well,
gonna switch
that's all
out.
right.
But it's and we switch call letters. I mean call numbers. So
Yeah, that's right.
We switched dial positions about 2 years ago. We went from 98.7 to 107.3. What they say, moving on up.
That's right, which means you can hear you all over the place now,
Yeah,
here in the
yes,
Kanawha
sir.
Valley especially.
Yes,
and, of course,
sir.
always online. Well, probably this is, like I said, it's always one of my favorite things that we do here locally for our community. When you get to look out the street, down the street here, and the folks are lined up, and you see so many kids, just like Halloween, it's like that
Right.
too, but there's just like a sea of kids that are lined up down the street. Makes you feel a little something, in a good way.
It makes your heart smiles. And one thing you should do when you wake up is try to make your heart smile and do something nice for somebody. And this is something we can do for 300 kids. And we got this rule that your kid must be present to receive a backpack. And we do that not to be mean, not to be stingy, but we want to talk to the kids. Kind of like when you said the parents eat the candy when they get home.
Right.
And we just want to talk to the kids and encourage the kids. And it been young folks that's 25, 26, 27 still got their beat backpack from 19 years ago, and they bring that
That's
up to
something
me,
else, man.
Look, Coop, here go a picture. I don't know if we got time. I know.
No, let me see it.
Can
man.
this behind the CHS van? I think this was in 2017. You see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, man.
Where the
yeah,
TV
yeah, you can
people
hold
at?
that over here.
Which camera I'm on?
Sure.
All of them green or blue.
No.
So this is 17 years ago, and a parent posted this. She said all 3 of these children are in college and doing well, and that brings heart smiles to us.
Man. That's
And
something
it's
else,
crazy
man.
that your logo about. You remember that van?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
old school van?
that yellow logo, man. That yellow van, man. Yeah, that dates it a little bit too.
Yeah.
My goodness, that's something else, though. You're right, man. You probably have 3 generations out there in some of these cases. That's something else.
And I think it's not because of the radio station. It's because of all of us that care about our community, man. Like I know Mr. P the boss, but when he brought that, we're proud to live here too. That's the type of stuff we live by here in our building at 1111 Virginia Street. Not just the beat, not CHS, not just V100. All of us that we got a great group of. And they're not employees or employers. We are family here, and you can tell.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
sir.
absolutely right.
Yes,
I've
sir.
always felt that about here. It means a lot, too.
It does.
It means a lot every time we do something like this, and to see people that show up and turn out, and that we're all just doing it for each other and for the community. It feels good, man.
It's people in line already, and the line
I know, man.
don't start to 3:30.
I know. I looked out there before I came down here. I was like, yep, already in line, man.
Already in line,
Already in line. But we get
so-
to listen to some music anyway. That's
Yeah,
good, right?
yeah. I'm
That's
gonna
good
go out there
stuff.
and do the cha-cha slide or something. I'm gonna do it. Hey, Ryan, I need some help. You know how to dance? You know how to do the Cupid shuffle? He ain't listening.
I know.
Hey,
No.
you know how to play Fortnite?
No.
No,
I'm-
not that either.
I'm of refined taste.
Oh, what do you do? My girl, you.
Pokemon, I think.
Oh,
you could hook
Pokemon.
up with.
Oh yeah, I love Pokemon. I was playing I played 3 hours of Civilization before I came in here today.
That's lovely, Ryan. You got to teach me, brother. If I get 3 hours, I'm going to Ryan house.
Yeah, you should, man. You probably learn something.
Yes,
It's hard
sir.
to tell.
I know I'm gonna learn something.
It's hard to tell. Woody, I love you, man.
Love
And
you too,
this
sir.
is
Thank
this is an amazing event. I'm always glad to do it. Always glad to talk about it a little bit. So if you're in town now, if you're in Charleston, you got your kid with you, and this is something that means something to you and your community. For one thing, you can always contact us on how you can get involved. Like if you're in that situation, because we love to get our community, our other people in community that want to help involved. But if you're in that situation where your kid needs some help, you can come on by here. It's 1111 Virginia Street.
And I learned this too last year. Autistic kids, they don't like crowds or music, so
Yeah, right.
we put back some bags for them. They can just come in and come and get their bags. Because my grandson is autistic, and if it get too rowdy for him, he out of there. And ain't no stopping it. There's no stopping him. So I understand that we do have some bags left over for autistic kids or kids that might not like crowds or can't stand in line and just want a backpack and need a backpack. Like Coop said, just reach out to us. You can call our office. My son's at the front desk, and he'll take care of you. So we will have a couple bags left over for our special kids, man.
That's good stuff, man.
Yes,
I appreciate
sir.
you, Woody. Thank
you, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be back to set up the rest of the show when we get back right after this.
Ready to make this?
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Of course, the elevator was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season. The 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart. Only on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows for Talk Line on Metro News Television. Sports Line on Metro News Television.
I was sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? Sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another grand on them tomorrow.
It is about 8 minutes until the bottom of the hour. You'll listen to the Metro News Hotline. Thanks for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks again to Woody Woods for stepping down here from 107.3 The Beat here in Charleston. Backpack attack night. Did he say the 19th? I believe the 19th backpack attack is taking place right now in Charleston, 1111 Virginia Street. You can swing by and get your kids taken care of there. What a great community outreach and effort that is. Before when we got to Woody, we didn't get a chance to set our question of the day today. I did mention it briefly, so let's go ahead and get into our question of the day. Question of the day today. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, told Rolling Stone he is exploring a solo music career that's inspired by old school soul with some country flavor. He cited Sam Cooke, Elvis, George Jones, Merle Haggard, and Willie Nelson as influences. Johnson already co-wrote Your Dad, a heartfelt ballad dedicated to his daughters, for Moana, the Voices Across the Ocean compilation album. So the Salango Law question of the day today is, can you make up something worse than Carl Lewis singing or Shaq as a leading man? Spin me a yarn. What is the worst celebrity crossover that you can imagine? 304-825-5304, 304-TALK, 304. Some of the low-hanging fruit would be maybe William Shatner or Leonard Nimoy singing, Telly Savalas. Also, a lot of actors try singing and singing try acting. There's a lot of those that stick out. Maybe Jordan playing baseball. Is there any, Ryan, that stick out to you that you can think of?
Didn't Shatner already have an album?
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah. You know, The Rock can sort of carry a tune. He did that in the animated version of Moana, and it worked because he's not perfect, and it really kind of worked because of the whole setup of that thing.
Yeah, and I think it's also because it's Disney, and Disney wants what Disney gets. So if they want The Rock to sing, they get The Rock to sing, and they get to sing him good.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But the one thing that did work out, and people might be surprised at this, is Dolph Lundgren. You know, the actor that played in Rocky V. He hosted an entertainment show. This was about almost 20 years ago now. But this guy, number one, he's a scientist. I think he's a chemical engineer, and also he's a very talented performer, including singing. And he covered Elvis. Now, if you watch the video, he's dancing. He has dancers behind him. He puts on a whole performance this whole time. It's fantastic. Yeah. I've been watching this thing for like a couple decades, man. So Dolph Lundgren does a little less conversation. You can find that on YouTube and look it up. And pretty fun stuff. But I want to know, what's the worst celebrity crossover you can imagine? Can you beat Shatner doing music or The Rock doing music or something? Or how about Shaq as a leading man? You know, he
was in Shazam.
Yeah, it was terrible. That's what I mean. That was a really bad idea. Yeah, don't get it confused with the Sinbad movie that didn't exist, because there's a Mandela effect out there for that one. Jeff Jenkins is down here from the WCHS and the Metro News newsroom. We took our break early, Jeff, so we have 3 minutes until the bottom of the hour here. And I know that there's a ton of stuff. Going on in the news. What's happening in the state?
State Board of Education met today, took a couple of actions when it comes to Wyoming County schools and Marion County schools. Wyoming County schools, they've declared a state of emergency. Most of that focused on a review they did of basically the behavior of the school board there. And a report didn't say very many good things about how the school board operates, and so they've declared a state of emergency, and basically Wyoming County has to come up with a corrective plan and report back to the state board. Also, in Marion County, the state board several months ago, there was a corrective plan put in place for Marion County, and today they decided to appoint a liaison to make sure that gets done. So you can read about that at WVMetroNews.com. And there was also a report from Logan County about the operation of their school system. Both U.S. Senators Shelley Moore Capito and Jim Justice were in Charleston today together. You don't see that a ton. And, of course, they're on their August break, and they announced they brought with them a $15 million check for Vandalia Health, CMC, for some improvements there. So we were over at that. Both the senators talked. We've got that story at WVMetroNews.com. A couple other things. One, there was just a terrible motorcycle death in Kanawha County. A motorcycle driver had his girlfriend on the back. They were on a road here in the county near the Pinch area last night. Came up on a tree that had fallen. So she gets off. He is going to turn the bike around, and as he's turning it around, power lines fall on top of him.
Oh, my goodness.
Live power lines, and claimed his life. She tried to get the lines off of him, and she was burned. And there was a fire, too, as in a result of that. But no names have been released, but that's obviously a tragic story. And then State Fair of West Virginia kicks off tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
I know.
The 10-day State Fair. We're there already again. We're in August, right? And here we go. And so that kicks off tomorrow down at Fairleigh in Greenbrier County. You can get all the fried stuff you want, Coop. Plus they got a pretty nice lineup actually of concerts that get started down there.
I'm going to work on getting somebody on to talk a little bit about the fair. We haven't had anybody on to talk about that yet, so we're going to probably have somebody on tomorrow for it. But yeah, it's a big time for the fair. I was in Columbus last week when the Ohio State Fair was going through there, and of course, Columbus has a ton of stuff going on,
right.
but a lot of people came through for that State Fair as well. So I know that ours is always very popular.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, Jeff. I appreciate it. Follow the news of the day over at WVMetronews.com. We'll see you later on. Good Reds win last night, by the way. That was a good come from behind win.
Yeah, just enjoyable to watch a win.
Yeah, every once in a while. They still didn't hit until late, but at least they got the win in there, so that counts. Jeff Jenkins from the Metro News newsroom, news of the day at WVMetronews.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, do a little bit of the sound of sports. After that, Jeff Erickson will join us from RotoWire, talk a little bit about your fantasy teams. And then at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, I'll be joined by Steve Cotton, the voice of the herd, and we're going to talk a little bit about Marshall football. All of that is coming up within about the next half hour or so. Hang on, we'll be back after this. You're listening to Talkline or Hotline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
After some impressive record-breaking rain just yesterday, we'll continue to see these showers as we head into the day today. Flood watch in place as more heavy showers are going to be moving in. Some thunderstorms prompting some gusty winds. And then we're just in this wet pattern as we head through the next several days. You see these showers that'll be rolling through as we head into the afternoon. It's not going to be a total washout, but definitely be aware of some of these showers, especially on top of the already saturated ground, because that is where those flood concerns come into place. Stay safe out there. Always remember, turn around, don't drown. Here's some additional rainfall that we're expecting. This is through 7 p.m. on Friday, as we are anticipating this wet pattern to stick around for the next several days. The wet pattern sticking around for many as we take a look at your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. For the next several days, we're tracking showers and thunderstorms from Washington, D.C. to Chicago to Tampa as well. Myrtle Beach, though, getting to enjoy the sun. So your panhandle forecast, we're tracking showers and thunderstorms today. Temperatures also going to be up into the 80s as we head into our Wednesday afternoon. Pittsburgh, 82 degrees. Otherwise, we're looking at Petersburg, 87. Davis, 74 degrees. Kingwood a little bit cooler too, 79 degrees. Otherwise, 80s for Parkersburg, 83 degrees. Petersburg, 87 degrees. Charleston, 86 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. But those temperatures staying in those mid-80s through Friday as showers and thunderstorms are set to continue. This weekend, though, could see a little bit of break from the rain before we do see some additional shower activity as we head into next week. Have a great rest of your day.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's a great point. Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
"27 minutes to the top of the hour. Thanks so much for tuning in. Metro News Hotline, Dale Cooper filling in for Dave Weekly for just a couple more days. Dave will be back on Monday afternoon to kick off at 3:06 on Metro News Hotline. However, I still got you for a few more days today, Thursday, and Friday. So two of my favorite days of the week, as they are towards the end of it. And I'll be happy to be here with you for the next, what are we at? 8 hours, I guess, is where we're at. Is that right? Yeah, 6, 8. Yeah, that works for me. 8 hours or so over the airwaves here on Metro News over the next couple of days. Let's go ahead, before we get to the sound of sports, although we just did the question today, let's go ahead and get that out one more time, just so folks are engaged on this. You can text over your responses to 304-825-5304, 304-TALK, 304. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson told Rolling Stone he is exploring a solo music career inspired by old school soul with some country flavor. He cited Sam Cooke, Elvis, George Jones, Merle Haggard, and Willie Nelson as influences. He's already co-wrote a song called Your Dad for his daughters. That's on the Moana Voices Across the Ocean compilation album. So today's Salango Law question of the day is, can you make something up worse than, say, Carl Lee singing the national anthem or Shaq as a leading man? Spin me a yarn. What's the worst celebrity crossover you can imagine? Text 304-825-5304, 304-TALK 304.
I hate to call you out, Coop, especially on the air.
That's okay.
But I think
guess
you said Carl Lee instead of Carl Lewis.
Oh, my, I probably did. You know what? I don't know if Carl can sing either.
Yeah.
Maybe we should call him and ask him, see if he can try to sing a tune on air for us. But thanks for the correction. Yeah,
of course.
Maybe I should change the example there, because now that I think about it and it's in my head, that's probably going to be hard for me to keep from doing from now on.
I just didn't want him to cancel his podcast.
Yeah, he'd be like, what do you mean I can't sing? Have you ever heard me sing? Hey, Carl, get mad at me over something like that. You never know. But I am interested, like, what would be terrible? I mean, what could be worse than what's already happened, right? I mean, and unfortunately, most of these things, as I think more about this question, which seemed like a really good idea when I first came up with it, most of it's going to be somebody trying to sing or somebody trying to act, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you could say something like cooking. You know, I just saw Jay Farrow on a celebrity cooking competition, but he won it, so I guess he's okay with it. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so I want to know, what is, spin me a yarn, what is the worst celebrity crossover you can imagine? Like Michael Jordan playing baseball, or the Shaq being a leading man acting, or William Shatner trying to sing? I want to know. You can text me over those answers to 304-825-5304. Let's go ahead and do the Sound of Sports. I want to start with Major League Baseball. Rich Rodriguez met with the media today. We'll hear from him a little bit later on in the program with some Mountaineers information. But in Major League Baseball last night, the Reds edged Chicago in a one-run game that they came from behind to win, and then won in extra innings. Ellie De La Cruz had the game-tying single, and then the go-ahead sac fly.
First pitch, center field. Peters has to fade back in the gap. That should be deep enough. He makes the catch. McClain tags. Sac fly RBI. McClain sprints home, and the Reds take a 5-4 lead.
So there is your very unusual highlight of a sac fly to put a period on that game. The Reds did win 5-4 against the White Sox in Chicago. Terry Francona, after the game in Chicago last night, they were giving away Pope hats. Of course, the Pope is a huge fan of Chicago area sports and a White Sox fan. So they were giving away Pope hats, and he quipped about that. But here is Reds manager Terry Francona talking about last night's game and the Pope hat.
But I thought he threw the ball really well. He made a couple mistakes and paid for it. But his breaking ball was good. He didn't walk anybody. He threw strikes. I thought he was crisp.
What's it say about your team that you guys are able to battle back after
7 innings where there was not much offense?
Well, I mean, we just keep playing. We just came off a series where we didn't. So you keep playing because play till they make you go home. Sometimes some good things happen.
Did you notice all those Pope hats out there?
Yeah.
Did you get one?
No, I don't want lightning to strike.
At the beginning of the interview, Francona, as I blew my opening to the clip, he was talking about Nick Lodolo's performance last night, who threw a pretty good game, gave up some home runs, but kept the Reds in it, and the Reds were able to come back and win. Reds in the White Sox again tonight with a first pitch of 7:40. Talking about Weekly's team, the Pirates, they were shut out last night by the Marlins 2-0. Ori Perez outdueled Paul Skeens with 7 shutout innings and 7 strikeouts. Esteury Ruiz homered for one of Miami's 2 runs. Pittsburgh managed just 4 hits all night and never had a runner in scoring position.
Ruiz demolishes a ball to left. Reynolds looking up, and a watch it fly. A beauty of a bomb for Esteury Ruiz, and the Fish are on the board first.
Here is Pirates manager Don Kelly with some comments on Skeens' performance last night.
I thought he threw the ball pretty well for the most part. Had the home run, Ruiz hit the home run, and then some base hits throughout. I thought that last inning, Velo was down a little bit, and everything started to seem, he fell behind some guys, hit Ruiz, ball leaked out over on, the home run that Reynolds brought back there at the end, and felt like it was just getting away from him a little bit.
Was there any injury concern at all, or was it just you saw him kind of running out of gas?
No, I think I think that as far as anybody this time of year is, not injured, but, I think that guys throughout in August are, nobody's 100%.
Moving on to Detroit, where the Tigers are taking on the Guardians. The Reds, by the way, were the only team in our regional footprint that won last night. The rest of the teams in our region lost, including our Eastern Panhandle report that's coming up in just a moment. But in Detroit last night, rookie Kevin McGonigal drove in 3, and Detroit broke it open with a 3-run fifth off of Tanner Bibby. Joe Adele and Chase DeLauder homered for Cleveland, but it was the Guardians that went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
Kevin lines it to right, and fair inside the chalk. Great aim, rookie. Tigers take the lead by 2.
McGonigal had that hit for the Tigers. He's a rookie sensation for the Tigers in the running for Rookie of the Year this year. Eastern Panhandle report starting with the Nationals, who's hosting the Cubs. Didn't go well for them last night. Chicago hit 4 home runs. Alex Bergman, Suzuki hit a home run, Pete Crow Armstrong, and a big night from Nico Horner as well. Washington answered with 3 of their own home runs, but they could not close the gap. Here's Bergman's home run for the Cubs.
High fly ball drilled left field. That's back. Gone! Alex Bregman will touch them all. And it is 7-4 for Bregman. Home run number 13.
Can't stop calling him Bergman for whatever reason for his entire career. Bregman with that home run. The Cubs at Washington tonight at 6:45 is the first pitch there. Orioles actually did win last night. I was wrong about my Eastern Panhandle report. They did beat the Twins. I had it confused with last night's game. Baltimore went deep 3 times. Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, and Christian Encarnacion Strand all homered off of Bailey Ober. Henderson had 3 hits and 2 RBI. Brandon Young went 6 innings for the win. And man, CES, who was a dud for the Reds, has been tearing the cover off the ball for the O's. Here he is during the game. He had a 460-foot jack.
When I was over there, let's go. Oh.
Get up. Yeah. Christian Encarnacion Strand into the bullpen for a home run.
Nice swing. Oh boy.
With Carlos Narvaez on the mic. Encarnacion Strand goes deep. We might have to keep you here.
Yeah, keep it. Let's go.
That game, the final game of that series is closing right now, and I'll get an update for that in just a moment. Padres and Brewers last night. Matt's not here for this one, and he's probably pretty happy. San Diego exploded for 17 hits. Luis Referengo drove in 4, and Fernando Tatis Jr. went deep as well. Kyle Harrison was hammered for 8 runs and 3 homers and 4 2/3 innings, while Walker Buehler cruised.
Here's Fernando, 3rd time. He is lined to short, walked, and sends one to right field and deep. Lara back, looking up, it is gone! Home run, Fernando! Oh, Nando! Padres take a 6-1 lead.
That series closes out here in less than a half hour or so. Brewers at San Diego, first pitch, 4:10 Eastern Time. Yankees beat the Mariners last night. It was a scoreless game until the 7th, and New York hung 4 on reliever Michael Rucker, who recorded only 1 out. Trent Grisham and Ryan McMahon drove in 2 apiece for the Yankees, while Ryan Weathers went 5 2/3 strong. Seattle just managed 3 hits total.
Hit sharply and through for a base hit. Garcia scores. Here comes Chisholm. He'll score. They throw behind the runner at second. Jones is back. It's a big 2-run single for Ryan McMahon. And the Yankees lead 2-1.
Unfortunately, right now it is in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Twins are leading the Orioles. That's a score of 7-4. We'll keep you updated on that as things go along here today. So we're going to go ahead and take our break now. When we come back, Jeff Erickson is going to join us. If you have any questions for Jeff from RotoWire.com on your fantasy team, whether you're getting ready for your fantasy football draft or you have some questions about your ongoing Major League Baseball fantasy team, you can send in your questions, 304-825-5304, 304-TALK-304 for Jeff Erickson. We'll go ahead and take a break and be back right after this. You're listening to Hotline on Metro News.
Hi, I'm Lucas Gardner, Project Manager 3 at Civil and Environmental Consultants. What makes a career truly rewarding? It starts with growth. At CEC, we nurture talent from the ground up. From entry level to expert, we build careers that matter. Our projects aren't just blueprints, they're blueprints for community success. And with our employee ownership program, you're not just working for CEC, you're investing in your future. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Metro News Hotline, brought to you by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better. And I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season, the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game, Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart, only on Metro News Television.
Minutes to the top of the hour. You're listening to Metro News Hotline. Thanks for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. Having a good time here in the good old WV, and I hope you are having a good time wherever you are as well. Not quite as much weather moving through the state today as we were feared of, so I think that that's probably good news for most of the folks here. I know here in the Kanawha Valley anyway, we got saturated yesterday with all that rain that came down, and it's been a nice bonus surprise today that we've avoided any additional rain showers, so that's always good stuff. Coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, Steve Cotton's going to join me. He is the play-by-play voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd. We'll get a little bit of a breakdown on the the Herd and how they're doing. Quarterback Del Rio was named the preseason offensive player of the year, so we'll get a breakdown on that and also what to expect from the Marshall Club coming up here in 2026. That's going to be with Steve Cotton in just a few minutes here on Metro News Hotline. Joining me now is Jeff Erickson from RotoWire.com. He's been with us for a long time here on the airwaves. Jeff, good afternoon. How you doing today?
Doing great, Coop. Always great to talk with you.
Always good to have you on. Appreciate you coming in here and talking about fantasy sports and everything. Before I get into that, I always have to talk to you for a minute about the Reds anyway, since you're a fellow Reds fan. Tough luck on the Hunter Green injury, of course, but you already didn't have him for the entire season, so I guess you're hoping that he'll come back fully loaded for next season now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't bet on it being ready for the start of the season for Green either at this point in time. I think they went out of their way to try to avoid the significant surgery, and now they kind of had to admit that they needed to do more. So we'll see. I just want him to be fully healed at this point in time, however long it takes.
And is this just because the Reds are my club and I follow them a little more closely than maybe other major league clubs, or have they really been kind of playing show and tell when it comes to Hunter Green? It seems like that there has never been a straight story with his injuries.
It might not be that they knew. It might. Sometimes these are harder to diagnose. They certainly, there's always that suspicion that they're not telling everything, that they're like the Astros training staff as far as that goes. But there's always that possibility too that they're just, it's hard to diagnose things. Even with today's great equipment, sometimes you don't get in and see the full damage until you actually do the surgery.
I tell you, it's disappointing because, you see the beginnings of what could be a good rotation, and then you don't need to have an absolutely exceptional offensive team if you have 3 or 4 really good frontline starters, but they just can't put any of that stuff together, unfortunately. It's a complete miss.
And the lineup is the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be clear. They play in an extreme hitter's ballpark, at least an extreme power ballpark. I don't know about in terms of batting average, but, they need to be better. And they really have seen a number of young hitters stagnate. You look at like Christian Encarnacion Strand now with the Orioles, Matt McLain, Noelvi Marte. At least one of those needed to kind of connect, to click for this to be a competitive team. And they're not. It's just not happening.
Yeah, that's the thing that most of these guys have regressed even since they had their breakout seasons or whatever it is. None of them have gotten any better. Ellie's really the only player that you can point at right now that's been under long-term development with the Reds from a batter standpoint and been like, yeah, that guy has gotten better every season, and you could see the development. The rest of these guys that were supposed to pan out has been, frankly, the opposite.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And, and we're hoping that they don't mess up Sal Seward at this point.
That's 100%. Yeah, that's exactly it. Let's talk a little bit about fantasy sports since I've already taken up half of it talking about the Reds. But it is an interesting time in Major League Baseball when you're talking about fantasy. The trade deadline in Major League Baseball has just passed. A lot of reshuffling around. Anybody that's going to be revealed in this reshuffling that maybe is worth an ad right now? Of course, the Yankees promoted George Lombard Jr. to take some at-bats at the Major League club. But what guys maybe are revealed now that some guys moved out of their way?
Well, I take a look at Washington, for instance, there. That they got such a great run out of Luis Garcia and Curtis Mead. Who's stepping into their place? Brady House is getting more playing time. Andres Chaparro, Abalemek, Ortiz. Which one of those guys are going to be the ones the next to click? Because they're already at the point there where they're still a fun offense there, and I know they're trying to add some young arms. This is how they go about doing it. I kind of applaud them for sticking to their path, like that they've got a plan, a long-term plan in place, and they didn't let achieving a little overachieving early on kind of change things up a little bit there. So it's tough to do that when they're in that position, but I think they did the right thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out when it comes to Major League Baseball. A couple minutes left with Jeff Erickson. I wanted to get one question about football in, too, kind of compressing the segment just a little bit. But I was really interested. I was reading a little bit about your all's signal versus noise guide for camp and what's coming up. And one of the things that's highlighted on RotoWire is talking about the kind of ensemble backfills that we have that haven't quite been resolved yet. And we're coming up where there's people who are drafting, and we're getting into this very soon. How do you kind of approach that? We have about 90 seconds or so left here. How do you kind of approach that in drafting strategies when there's a lot of these backfields that are still unsettled in the NFL?
And that's the new normal. That you have to kind of plan on that there. Those that are full-time workhorse backs, you obviously bump up a little bit. And I think you don't get caught chasing the next tier. If they run out, you don't push the next guy up. You take a better receiver or tight end, and then just take the bargains that come in the 5th and 6th round.
That might be one of the why, and it makes sense, but frankly, that almost pegs me to a T. Like you're waiting, you're hoping to get that last guy in the first tier, depending on where you draft. You just miss him by a couple slots, and you're like, okay, well, I'll take the first guy in tier number 2 because I really need a running back here or whatever. That oftentimes could be a mistake.
Yeah, and especially early on. I mean, the first 3 rounds is just you should be getting no doubt contributors each of those picks. That these are the best players in football, and you need to be taking them, and not going out of positional need. You should be just taking the best players.
That's elite roto advice from one of the best that does it is Jeff Erickson from RotoWire.com. You can head over to their website, check it out. Subscribe, gives you tons of advice and help during the course of the season. RotoWire.com, you can check it out. Jeff, I appreciate you coming on, talking about the Reds, talking about fantasy sports every week. Appreciate your time, man.
Anytime. Thanks, Coop.
Appreciate it. That's Jeff Erickson from RotoWire.com. We need to take a break to wrap up hour number 1. We'll be back right after this.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season. The 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart. Only on Metro News Television.
It's time for a hotline hot mess.
NASA is shutting down a viral hoax claiming the Earth's gravity will vanish for 7 seconds today. The AI-fueled conspiracy dubbed Project Anchor spread across social media claiming secret government program was hiding coming gravitational anomaly tied to a colliding black holes. NASA says it's simply not how gravity works. Earth's gravity comes from its mass, and nothing is happening to change that today. We'll be back with Steve Cotton after this.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Tuesday's round of rain brought numerous flood reports from Point Pleasant to Charleston, near Beckley and Summersville. Daily rain records were achieved from Elkins to Parkersburg, Beckley, and Charleston, with more than 3 inches observed there. We also saw some widespread wind damage, a lot of those reports coming in across West Virginia. Fortunately, we'll see localized damaging winds still possible, but the widespread threat is waning. We still have a widespread flood watch in effect into Friday morning. Accumulation surpassing an inch for the areas in the lighter blue, that 1.5 inches toward Huntington, Charleston, Beckley. Meanwhile, eastern communities have less to worry about with additional heavy rain. But tonight, storms may still produce some localized heavy gusts and some high rainfall. Those storms may track a little further north than this shows. And then for our Thursday, in the evening and into the overnight hours, we have a cold front swinging in from the north. Behind that front, quieting down Friday. 5-star W forecast, it starts at home. We will be seeing cooler conditions if you're traveling towards Chicago. Meanwhile, a lot of hot and humid areas elsewhere, quieter towards Charlotte. For Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, you'll see overnight lows around 67 to Morgantown, closer to 70 for Moundsville, 84 there Thursday, 81 Morgantown, mid-60s to near 70 as we look east to Martinsburg, then 88 there on Thursday, 88 for Parkersburg as well, Elkins 66 overnight, Snowshoe 62, then a high of 74. We'll see mid-80s looking toward Point Pleasant, then looking south, mid-60s to low 70s overnight, and low to upper 80s for our Thursday. We will, as mentioned, see some improvement Friday afternoon into Saturday, then more rain late Sunday into Monday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
Hello, everyone. Dale Cooper filling in for Dave Weekley one more time. I keep on forgetting to change that. Sorry about that, Brian. That's my fault. I should have sent that over to you. But thanks for tuning in today. I am here for the next couple hours and for the next couple days. Dave will be back on Monday. Metro News Hotline on this Wednesday. We have a great hour coming up for you here. Steve Cotton's going to join me in just a moment. We're going to talk about Marshall Thundering Herd football. That's coming up in just a couple seconds, really. At the bottom of the hour, we will check in with Abrar Al-Heeti from CNET. She's going to join us once again, and we'll get a tech update from her. We'll play a little On This Date before we get out of here for this hour. Anthony Lewis will join me at the top of next hour, talk a little West Virginia football with Anthony. So that's about the next 60 minutes or so here on the program. Before we get Steve Cotton on the air, let's go ahead and reintroduce today's question of the day. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson told Rolling Stone he is exploring a solo music career inspired by old school soul with some country flavor. He cited Sam Cooke, Elvis, George Jones, Merle Haggard, and Willie Nelson as his influences. Johnson did already co-write a song called Your Dad for the Moana soundtrack. But today's Salango Law question of the day is, can you make up something worse than Carl Lee singing the national anthem or Shaq as a leading man? Spin me a yarn. What is the worst celebrity crossover that you can imagine? The worst celebrity crossover that you can imagine. 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Stephanie from Stephanie in the Box told me a minute ago that Abe Vigoda doing a pop music record was a pretty bad mix. And that's I think that works out pretty well. There's some of it that some people have worked out pretty well as like authors that people go and write, and they're pretty good writers, and frankly, some of the folks that have done the music crossover have done okay. But the ones that fail tend to be pretty spectacular, and I want to know what ones that you think would be terrible if we happen to be exposed to them. So 304-825-5304, you can get a hold of me there, and we can get into those a little bit later on today. But I want to talk to Steve Cotton. It's been a while since I've talked to Steve on the phone, and we have a big year of Marshall Thundering Herd football coming up, and Steve is joining us now on the radio. Tony Gibson's second year as head coach for Marshall. Steve, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Well, doing all right. Glad to be with you, Coop. And yes, it is that time of year, a full week in the books now with Marshall on the football field at Jones C. Edwards Stadium, or a lot of it has been in the indoor facility because of the weather this week, or they'll start indoors because of some lightning and move outdoors when it moves away, or vice versa.
And big news for Marshall today, Carlos Del Rio Wilson was named the preseason Offensive Player of the Year. He had over 2,000 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 660 yards rushing last season. He was Marshall's spark plug for sure, and that's a good accolade to start the season.
It is, and you always would rather be the Player of the Year at the end of the year,
for sure.
Course, but that means you've produced, but because of what he did last year. And, you mentioned 660 rushing yards. He holds the Marshall single-season rushing record for a quarterback, and he didn't take over as the starter until Game 3, and then he missed a lot of time at the end of the year because he was banged up. So that in and of itself was impressive. He also was effective through the air, threw for 17 touchdowns, ran for 6, and that is the kind of thing that catches everybody's attention. And also the fact that the era that we're in, you had a couple of the other top quarterbacks in the league who would have been up for potential preseason Player of the Year who have moved on through the transfer portal. So here we go, and that makes, I think, Coach Gibson, Rod Smith, the offensive coordinator, feel pretty good when you start the year with the preseason pick as the Player of the Year under center or in the shotgun more than likely.
Yeah, and of course having that quarterback back there is going to mean a lot because Marshall did lose Antoine Roberts via the transfer portal, but they do have some guys that are coming in that should help him out in the backfield.
Yeah, Joshawn Barbie returns. He's the big name. Judah Price, people in West Virginia remember him as one of the most amazing players in West Virginia high school history and a Player of the Year a couple of years back. And other guys are going to have the chance that – there's a guy named T.J. Lester, a transfer from West Georgia. A month from now, 6 weeks from now especially, we will have a much better feel of how those youngsters and newcomers are going to fit in.
Tony Gibson took over a Sun Belt championship team a couple years ago. He had to tear it down from the studs, basically, and rebuilt it. How do things look different now coming into year 2 than what it did last year when he had to come in?
Well, last year was utter chaos. Yeah. 70-some new players, a new staff. Nobody knew anybody other than Tony Gibson had come from being the defensive coordinator at NC State, and a guy like Cannon Lewis, a linebacker from Cabell Midland High School, who had gone to NC State and then transferred in. There you have a redshirt freshman who had played a few snaps in college and then redshirted, and he's the veteran who knew the coach. And so that was an odd situation. It's hard to imagine a lot of success, and Marshall probably outperformed what you should expect when you have 70 new players and a new staff and all that kind of thing. But there were frustrations along the way too. The team that didn't get to a bowl game, lost the last game of the year, ended up 5-7 and out of the bowl picture, looks back over the season and says, we had 3 or 4 games that we woulda, shoulda, coulda won, and we would have been playing a bowl game, and we would have had more practice to try to get all these new parts fit together. Much more calm this year. You have many players who have been through the system. You have a first-year coach who's now a second-year coach, and no matter how prepared you are going in, you learn in that first year on the job. So much more calm and settled, I think, this year from everybody's perspective.
That's good to hear, and I think you're right. Overperforming last year was probably the name of the game. I'll be really looking forward to seeing what the Herd does this year. And talking about Tony Gibson, you mentioned a minute ago about Judah Price and some of the homegrown talent that's on this team. Gibson's from Van. He's a West Virginia kid. He's coached all over the place. He's been at WVU, Michigan, Pitt, Arizona, NC State. He's come back home now. Do you see some reflection of his hometown roots on that roster? Because to me, it looks like that maybe he goes out and finds some of these guys from the state.
Yeah, he
made no bones from day one on campus that he's going to fight to get anybody in the state of West Virginia who can play at this level. He wants them here. And that's going to, that certainly breaks ties, if nothing else. He wants West Virginians to have the chance to succeed. He got his chance from like a little town like Van in the coal fields to go do big things because of athletics. And he views his goals, his aspirations to give that opportunity to other folks, anybody who has that, just even an outside chance to be able to get that done.
I really like to see it, and some of these guys that doing so much high school sports here for Metro News and here in the Kanawha Valley on WCHS, hearing some of these names resurface at Marshall and our local schools. I like seeing that. I like to hear it and follow these guys. So that's always something that I like to follow. Another thing I wanted to talk about is Brad Lambert. Brad Lambert is back as the defensive coordinator, and he has such a history with Marshall. He coached, he was the DC under Doc Holliday. He coached all the way back in the 90s under Jen Donnan. So this is a real homecoming for him.
Yeah, when I showed up at Marshall in 1993, Brad Lambert was one of the first people I met on campus. And he was a young defensive backs coach then for Coach Donnan, and went with Coach Donnan on to Georgia, and he's been a defensive coordinator at a lot of top-level schools. He's been the head coach for several years at Charlotte. Most recently, he was on staff at the University of Kentucky. He comes in, Coach Gibson is, and he's gone against Brad over the years. He knows that he can trust Brad with the defense. Not only Brad Lambert, but also on the staff, you have Dean Hood, who's been a head coach and a longtime defensive coordinator at top programs. He's also on the defensive staff. That is two guys that you can turn it over to who've been there, done that, seen it all. And that has to give a lot of confidence and comfort to Coach Gibson, who just comes straight out and says that he tried to do too much of that last year. Said, I need to be the CEO. I don't need to be sitting and meddling in the details of the defensive game plan for this given opponent from week to week. So I think he has, and that's one of the things he learned in year one as the head coach.
Yeah, I think that you could track some defensive inconsistency last year, and certainly to tighten up that side of the ball for Marshall, whether it be through different play calling eyes or just guys that you can kind of co-sign that stuff up to that you can trust. That in itself could be a huge benefit for Marshall, just being able to trust that side of the ball a little bit more.
Sure, and again, like he mentioned, make him the CEO. He can help out the offense when it needs it, help out the defense when it needs it, the special teams, and that's something that is a huge makeover from a year ago. We'll hit on that as well. But, instead of he jumped in and started play calling on defense midway through the season last year. So that was not ideal. And like I say, that was job one for him, to get that back in order and let him set his priorities again with the defense.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit on the defense now. What's some of the major changes that we're seeing there to give these guys some tools to work with?
Well, the fan base is talking a lot about the fact that it's a base four-man front, a 4-3 defense, as opposed to the three-man front, the 3-3-5, whatever. I don't put as much into that, just from the fact that every team plays based on down and distance, a four-man front, or at times a three-man front, a nickel, a dime in the secondary. It changes on down and distance. How much you play each of those, yeah, that's a little bit of a change in philosophy. So, but it's, again, the comfort level, getting whatever your defensive scheme is to fit your personnel and their talents. That's the biggest thing. And then making the players understand it enough where they play fast. They don't have to stop and think. You stop and think for a split second, and the guy's running past you on his way to the end zone. So simplify sometimes, make it second nature to the guys on the field as much as possible. somebody goes in motion, everybody understands, okay, here's the way the defense rotates, everybody's on the same page. That's how you play a good, successful defense, being comfortable and understanding and being able to go full tilt as soon as that ball snapped.
Any standout player you're looking forward to on defense this year?
Well, you've got a defensive back who is one of the dinosaurs in today's transfer portal age, and Daquan Smith, who is in his 6th season at Marshall. Had some injury years early on, and he is a standout, a preseason first team, all Sun Belt Conference defensive back who has he's been, again, I said, been there, done that. He's seen it all, and you count on him. Cannon Lewis mentioned the local guy as a middle linebacker. He's what you picture in your mind when you think, what is a linebacker? What's a college linebacker supposed to look like? He's big, he's fast, he's rough and tumble, he's sideline to sideline. He played a lot and played well as a freshman last year, so now sophomore year he should be full tilt and ready to go. And we talked about West Virginians. Braden Ward, Riverside High School. He's a Montgomery guy, and he's talking about a guy who looks the part. Defensive end, he's 6'5", maybe a little above that, 250. He's strong, he's fast, long arms. He will be all over quarterbacks. He'll be a nightmare for quarterbacks this year. I'll jump back and say, you want me to predict one guy going to have a huge year? People far and wide will know about him at the end of the year. I'd say Braden Ward's as good a guess as anybody there. Nice. I'm looking forward to that. I'm taking notes furiously as quickly as I can because those are good insights to look out for when checking out this team. Just about a minute left here with Steve Cotton, play-by-play voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd. And just taking a look at the schedule here, opening up with Penn State, of course, is going to be tough. Penn State's been very good the last couple of years. Historically, Marshall, when they open up with these teams, they usually play the teams pretty tough. They've scored a few upsets in the past. How's the team approaching this game? Just like any other game, you're going out and try to win it as much as possible, then move on. What's sort of the vibe in opening up at such a tough opponent? Yeah, the individual talk day-to-day isn't on Penn State yet. That'll be a couple of weeks down the line, although the coaches are always fitting in a little more of Penn State stuff quicker. But, yeah, he said, we're going to go out there, see what we can do, try to knock them off. And Coach Gibson, in his first press conference before camp, said, hey, Marshall is known for winning those kind of games, and that's our plan. We'll see how it goes. James Madison comes up early in October. That could be sort of a measuring stick game for the Herd this year. And then there's a Tuesday night game on ESPN2 that's against South Alabama that's in a window, so a little national exposure there. So those are some early season things to kind of look forward to with the Herd. Yeah, JMU early in the year is a measuring stick, preseason pick to win the league. And Marshall and James Madison, even though they've only been in the same conference now the 4 years since they simultaneously moved into the Sun Belt, it's close enough. The fans drive each way. That has very quickly become a rivalry, and that'll be quite a game early in the conference season. Yeah, really looking forward to that. They really put on a good show last year, a close loss with Marshall. So that's always good stuff. Steve Cotton, play-by-play voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd, award-winning play-by-play voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd. I always appreciate you taking time out to school me a little bit on Marshall and talk about Thundering Herd sports. Thanks a lot for your time again today, Steve. Sure thing, Coop. You're welcome. We'll talk to you later on. That's Steve Cotton, the great play-by-play voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd, who is kind enough to visit us from time to time here on Metro News Hotline. By the way, just to go down the Marshall roster for just a moment, I'm not going to do names, but just cities, and this just stuck out to me before I talked to Steve. Some of the hometowns of folks on the roster at Marshall: Huntington, Winfield, Hurricane, Polka, Milton, Barbersville, Wheeling, Martinsburg, South Charleston, and Matewan all have players that are on the Thundering Herd roster. So that's what I'm talking about. Plus, they have some international players as well. You want to win games, but it's nice to see hometown kids at schools that you can follow. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's going to be time for some entertainment talk. We'll talk some TV, and that's getting us ready for Abrar Al-Heeti, who will join us at 4:33 with a tech report from CNET. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm Scott Love, a transportation engineer at Civil and Environmental Consultants. What caught my eye about CEC is the dedication to technical excellence and community care. At CEC, we are employee-owned, and that means we take ownership in project success. With ongoing training and collaboration, we're responsive, accountable, and fully invested in the success of the communities we work with. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Don't forget about our podcast. Check out your favorite podcast provider or simply go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the podcast link. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer golf coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season. The 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart. Only on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
By the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Some more business news. I saw that McDonald's just unveiled a new type of Red Bull energy drink. And if you dip your fries in it, you can get a new type of heart attack.
It's actually pretty good. I saw that. I didn't use it today, but I did see the Red Bull thing at McDonald's. Let's get an entertainment report update from ABC News.
ABC Entertainment News.
Why can't your wife finish her book series?
You really want to know?
We have our first trailer for Verity,
The new psychological thriller follows a writer who's hired to complete a best-selling book series after the author is injured and unable to finish it herself. Based on the Colleen Hoover novel of the same name, the film stars Dakota Johnson and Anne Hathaway. Verity comes to theaters on October 2nd. The Dave Matthews Band is hitting the road. The band has announced that their 2026 fall tour will kick off in Madison, Wisconsin on November 4th.
It's a different world than where you come
A Different World is coming back to the small screen with a brand new take on the iconic theme song. Netflix has announced that Grammy winner Brandy has recorded the theme for the upcoming sequel series. A Different World premieres on September 24th. And happy birthday to Yvette Nicole Brown, who's 55 today. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
It's weird. I'm getting so old where everything that's old that's new again, I can't remember if it was actually old or if it's just new. I know A Different World was something that's from my childhood, but it seems like everything is just crossing over these days, and it's a little bit concerning. On TV tonight, actually right now, you should be able to stream Season 4 of Reacher. Alan Ritchson is back as Jack Reacher, this time in New York City, based on Lee Child's Gone Tomorrow, which is the 13th novel in the series. Opens with Reacher on a subway, a distressed stranger, and then immediate chaos. If you're familiar with the series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Conversations with the Killer of the Charles Manson tapes. That's on Netflix, debuting today. Apple TV, Woman in Blue, Season 2 premiere today. And on AMC Plus Sundance Now, Hollywood Crime Story, The Mob Takes Over the Movies. That's new on streaming today as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, Abrar Al-Heeti is going to join me from CNET, and we'll get a tech report from her. It's been a little while since Abrar's been on, so look forward to talking to her. That's coming up next. You're listening to Hotline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Tuesday's round of rain brought numerous flood reports from Point Pleasant to Charleston, near Beckley and Summersville. Daily rain records were achieved from Elkins to Parkersburg, Beckley, and Charleston, with more than 3 inches observed there. We also saw some widespread wind damage, a lot of those reports coming in across West Virginia. Fortunately, we'll see localized damaging winds still possible, but the widespread threat is waning. We still have a widespread flood watch in effect into Friday morning. Accumulation surpassing 1 inch for the areas in the lighter blue, that 1.5 inches toward Huntington, Charleston, Beckley. Meanwhile, eastern communities have less to worry about with additional heavy rain. But tonight, storms may still produce some localized heavy gusts and some high rainfall. Those storms may track a little further north than this shows. And then for our Thursday, in the evening and into the overnight hours, we have a cold front swinging in from the north, behind that front quieting down Friday. FlyStar W forecast, it starts at home. We will be seeing cooler conditions if you're traveling towards Chicago. Meanwhile, a lot of hot and humid areas elsewhere, quieter towards Charlotte. For our Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, you'll see overnight lows around 67 to Morgantown, closer to 70 for Moundsville, 84 there Thursday, 81 Morgantown, mid-60s to near 70 as we look east to Martinsburg, then 88 there on Thursday, 88 for Parkersburg as well, Elkins 66 overnight, Snowshoe 62, then a high of 74. We'll see mid-80s looking toward Point Pleasant, then looking south, mid-60s to low 70s overnight, and low to upper 80s for our Thursday. We will, as mentioned, see some improvement Friday afternoon into Saturday, then more rain late Sunday into Monday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it. So I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
When you hired me
you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's
me too.
a great point.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
It is 27 minutes until 5 o'clock now, and you're listening to Metro. It's weird, this time machine that we're in and called radio, because I do time checks so often, and they're always at the same times past the hour a lot of the time. So it's always 27 minutes until the top of the hour. It just depends on which hour it is. And at this point, it's 27 minutes until the 5 o'clock hour. Coming up in just a second, Abrar Al-Heeti will join me. She's back from CNET. We're going to talk about some Google phones. We'll talk about the iPhone. I have a story I'm going to bring up to Abrar that I think will scandalize her. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk to her in just a second. We'll do On This Date coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. At the top of the 5 o'clock hour, Anthony Lewis is going to join me. He is fresh off of watching the Rich Rod press conference. And so we're going to get some insights from him on what Rich Rod had to say today, as well as some other things on West Virginia football. And also we're efforting, I hate that word, but it's a Metro News word. We're attempting to get Tony Caridi in his slot at 5:33. Not positive if Tony's going to make it or not. I hope that Tony's able to make it, because I'll have both Tony and Steve Cotton on the same show. But if not, Ryan and I will plan on entertaining you accordingly. So all that's coming up in the next 90 minutes before we get out of here at 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and reset today's question of the day before we get to Abrar. The question of the day today. I read today that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson told Rolling Stone that he's exploring a solo music career inspired by old school soul with some country flavor. He cited Sam Cooke, Elvis, George Jones, Merle Haggard, and Willie Nelson. So the Salango Law question of the day today is, can you make up something worse than Carl Lewis singing or Shaq as a leading man? Spin me a yarn. What's the worst celebrity crossover you can imagine? 304-825-5304, 304-TALK, 304. I'm going to put The Rock instead of Carl Lewis in there, so I'll stop saying Carl Lee, because I just can't get around saying Carl Lee all the time, who's a contributor to this program, of course, but I don't want to begrudge him any singing ability, because I'm not sure if he's very good at it or not, and at very least, he hasn't tried to come out with an album, so there's that. I can maybe put Steven Seagal in there. If you haven't heard Steven Seagal sing, it's quite terrible, and he fashions himself as a musician as well, so that might work. We'll see if we can pivot to that later on, because I'm starting to get texts now every time I accidentally say Carl Lee instead of Carl Lewis. Thanks, Ryan, for pointing that out to everyone. It's okay. It's okay.
Look, it's my job.
I'd rather be accurate than uncorrected, so that's okay. I prefer that.
If Dave Weekly did it, I'd give him a harder time.
That is true. You would. So I will take some. I'll take something out of that. Let's go ahead and talk to Abrar Al-Heeti. It's been a little while since we've talked to Abrar. Abrar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Welcome back to the program. We're glad that you've come back to visit us.
Always a pleasure. And it's amazing how quickly the weeks go by, but I always look forward to when it's time to chat again.
Man, you're not kidding. It is amazing how quickly things go by. It's very fast. And even when I was looking for like the last message that you sent to me notifying when you're going to be out of town, for whatever reason, I thought that you sent it last week while I was gone. And when I went and looked, it was like 5 weeks ago, notifying me of the very next week. It was like so long ago.
No, so much happens so quickly. It's so true.
It really is pretty funny the way that works out. Before we get to the stuff that you sent me for today, I have to get your temperature on a story that I ran across today, because you've talked about these things with Dave and with me over time, but I found this to be pretty startling. A tech reporter in California requested his personal data from McDonald's under the California privacy law and got back a 515-page file. The report didn't just log years of orders, it predicted his future behavior, forecasting how many times he'd visit in the next 6 weeks, how much he'd hope he'd spend, even his favorite item down to drink size. It rated his odds of ever quitting the chain at 0%.
Oh my goodness. It's shocking and it's also not because you think about these things like, loyalty programs and how
Yep.
they're essentially designed to track everything that you do and predict your next behavior. But the fact that somebody actually did it and got that data, these are things that you tick a box and you see it in the fine print, but you never think to actually pursue it. So shout out to that reporter, but my goodness, that's a little terrifying.
You hit it right on the nose. Privacy experts said, be warned, this is quite typical and standard for major loyalty programs. So that's absolutely true. So think about all your loyalty programs and think of how many 500-page dossiers there are out there on you.
Exactly, just so that you can maybe save $1 when you spend 100,
Exactly true. Or just to get you to pay the same amount as you would if you know what I mean. That's pretty crazy stuff. But Abrar did the great service, ran down a bunch of great tech stories for this week. We're going to focus a little bit on phones for the most part for the first part of this thing, and talking about that I'm a Pixel user. I've been a fan of the phone for the last 4 or 5 years. I do really enjoy it, but they are also leaning in hugely into the AI infrastructure more so than hardware upgrades.
They definitely are. So we actually just unboxed the phones. Today's the big day for Google. They just announced all their phones. They're doing this weird thing where, earlier today we could publish all our stories, but they actually have their keynote that they'll be hosting in about an hour and a half. And that's where they'll kind of like really show off all these things. But in comparing this year's Pixel 11 phones to last year's, they look physically very similar, very minor hardware upgrades. But the biggest thing, like you mentioned, is those AI features. So I got to play around with some of them. One of the ones that stood out to me is called Magic Capture. So imagine you are at a concert or you're filming your child or something, and you can't decide if you want to record a video or take a photo. What this does is essentially it records the video, but it also automatically decides when to snap a photo so that you don't have to keep looking through your phone and, looking at your screen and deciding when's the right time. It'll kind of use AI to determine, oh, that could be a really good shot, and it'll go ahead and take it. So you can kind of be a little bit more in the moment. I thought that was an interesting feature. And then another one that I think could be interesting is called Rambler. It's very aptly named because what it does is if you like to use voice to text, but you want to send a text message and you're speaking and you have lots of ums and pauses, or you take back what you want to say and you reword it, AI will essentially analyze what you're saying and clean up and get rid of all those filler words and just send a very clean, version of what you were rambling to the person that you want to text. So those are two features that I think stood out most to me, but they're packing these phones with all these AI features.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the different things that are going to be on there. And, some of these things, I mean, I think like with anybody, some things you push back on a little bit. Some things are like, well, that's useful. Some things that you might not like until you actually use them. And you're like, okay, I can see the point of it now. This stuff is everywhere. Like I like to say, I try to recapture some of my analog nature from time to time. But then, YouTube rolled out AI integration into full videos using the transcripts, and you can go to transcripts of YouTube videos and ask it questions to find certain quotes or something, and it takes you right to the time index. I'm sorry, that's useful. That's really useful.
It really is. I know it's so hard because it's bad for engagement, but it's so useful to the user. And
Right.
I create the content and I consume the content. So as a content consumer, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense to just get to what I want, right? And there's one more actually YouTube related feature that is launching with these Pixel 11 phones, which if you click on a YouTube video, you can have it translate into whatever language you speak that is currently supported, and it'll automatically dub that video into that language. So
Wow.
if you want to change it into Spanish or whatever you want, you can essentially now access so much more content on YouTube that might not be in your native language because it'll automatically translate that for you.
Sometimes I think about the time that I spent in South America, and I never became fluent in Spanish, and it was always kind of a struggle for me while I was down there. And now I think, man, with your smartphone, you literally can have a relatively natural conversation with someone with real-time translation, and that just blows my mind.
It's cool. That's one of the things where I'm like, that really can open up a lot of doors for people. Absolutely.
Yeah. I did it the hard way. I would recommend if you can do it with your phone, that maybe you just do that and travel. Give it a whirl.
Easier for everyone.
The Pixel 11 Pro Fold is out as well, and you got to first look at that. This is their 3rd gen of foldables. How are they coming along? These have had pretty mixed reviews over the years.
They have had pretty mixed reviews. I think the thing that really stands out about the Pixel Foldable over any other foldables is the durability. So they say that they've made this 3 times more durable than last year's phone. And what that boils down to is, if you drop it, you're less likely to crack the screen now. You can, and this is the key differentiating factor between the Pixel Foldable and all the other foldable phones, is it is dust and sand resistant. So you can take it on the beach and not worry about all those tiny little particles getting into your nearly $1,900 phone and destroying it. Most phones these days are water resistant, but not all foldable phones are dust resistant. So that's like an added element of, okay, this should be able to withstand whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm going. And now that I have the phone, I'm going to be testing things like the camera and the battery life. And so once I test those things, then I can have a clearer idea. But those are the big things people care about, right? How long is my phone going to last? And can I take really good pictures, especially if I'm spending almost $2,000 on this phone?
Yeah. I remember when we did the show, when the first flagship phones started, first flagship phones started crossing the $1,000 threshold. It was not that long ago. And now we're already talking about $2,000 phones.
It's wild, and just wait until Apple potentially, announces its new phones in the fall, in about a month from now, and we'll see how much, if they have a foldable phone, how much that one will cost.
We have about 90 seconds left here. I wanted to talk about the rumor mill and the tug and war that's going on with this Apple 20th anniversary phone. That's been kind of a quirky story to follow a little bit.
Yeah. So this one, there have been back and forth rumors about whether Apple will announce an iPhone model that is kind of essentially surrounded by glass on the front and on the back. I'm trying to visualize what that would look like. I'm also trying to visualize how comfortable I would feel stepping out of my house with a fully glass iPhone that will surely be pricey. It's possible this could be, ranked on the level of its pro model phone. So again, imagine something $1,000 up. And again, that piles on to other rumors about maybe Apple releases a foldable iPhone. So really what Apple's trying to do is to stand out at a time where phones kind of look all similar, and to, of course, really make the most of that 20th anniversary launch of the original iPhone.
Yeah, we don't have time to really get into this, but just one observation that I wondered as you were talking about this and having the phone stand out and stuff like that. What I think that the last time I looked it up, something like 70 to 85% of people used phone cases on their phone. They put some kind of protective thing on it. Yeah. And most of those, you find one that's designed by a certain company, and they do one for Android, one for Apple, so on and so forth. Everybody's phones are going to kind of look the same anyway, regardless if it's made of glass or not.
I know. That's exactly right. That's why I'm like, if they did release this, I don't know how comfortable I would feel just kind of walking out with it. And the same goes for thin phones. They're making phones that are super thin now. You might still slap a case on it at the end of the day, so no one will even be able to tell how thin your phone really is.
Yeah, let's see. 68% overall with Androids, 86 to 87%, iPhone 86 to 87%, and Android about 70% that use phone cases. Yeah. So they're all going to look the same anyway.
They're all going to look the same. Save yourself some money. Yeah.
That's what I would think. All right. Abrar, Al-Heeti, thanks a lot for your contributions again this week. It's always a pleasure having you back on here, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for having me. Have a good rest of your week.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's Abrar, Al-Heeti. You can check her out over on CNET. She's doing everything over there now, especially a lot of video. You can check out all of her different reviews and things that she's getting into. It's kind of fun to follow, to be quite honest with you. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll do a little on this date.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows for Talkline on Metro News Television. Sportsline on Metro News Television.
I was sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? Sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I find today, he said, yep, I'm putting another grand on them tomorrow.
It is 10 minutes to the top of the hour. You're listening to Metro News Hotline. Thanks so much for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon here in Charleston. The Beat Backpack Attack is still going on outside. I know that that's a regional event, but it's something we're really proud of here in the Charleston area, where our sister station 107.3 The Beat gives away backpacks to the community. Folks are still lined up for that outside. If you're in the community and need one of those things, 1111 Virginia Street, while they're still going on, we go until just after 6 o'clock. Anthony Lewis has walked into the studio. That means that we're going to talk a little WVU sports coming up at the top of the hour. But until then, let's go ahead and do a little On This Date. Let's start today with the birthdays, and we're going to go with Sir Mix-a-Lot. Sir Mix-a-Lot is 63 today, and here he tells us a little bit about his ride.
Running, moving, tabs expired. Girlies try to diss and say my car looks tired. Hit my brakes, outslid Skittles, tinted back window with the bubble in the middle. Whose car is it? Posse won't say. We all play it off when you look our way. Rolling for a deep tie, smoke up the block. Gotta roll this bucket cause my Benz is in the shop.
Driving his hoopty. On this day in 1991, heavy metal band Metallica released their fifth album. Metallica debuted as #1 on the Billboard Top 200 chart. On this day in 1988, the movie Last Temptation of Christ was released from Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese brings us a startling vision. An extraordinary story. The Last Temptation of Christ.
On this date in 1974, Yankees Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford became the first teammates inducted into the Hall of Fame on the same day.
I was named after a Hall of Famer. I think this is the first time that's ever happened that a guy has come into the Hall of Fame that was named after one. Before I was born, my father lived and died for baseball, and he named me after the Hall of Famer, Mickey Cochran. I'm not sure if my dad knew it or not, but his real name was Gordon. Hope there's no Gordons here today, but I'm glad that he didn't name me Gordon.
It's a pretty good story from Mickey Mantle. In 1994, Major League Baseball Players Association went on strike, leading to the cancellation of the World Series for only the second time in Major League history. The other time was in 1904. The Montreal Expos were the biggest losers in 1994. They had a great shot to win the World Series that year. Their final game before the strike was in Pittsburgh. Here's Marquise Grissom from the start of the strike 32 years ago.
The Expos leave the field in first place, yet wondering if their best season ever's in jeopardy. Even so, they're prepared to sit it out for as long as it takes.
It doesn't matter how we've been playing. Of course, this is probably our best year playing, but we're talking about the whole game of baseball. You know, we didn't want to strike. We didn't want this to happen, but we don't have no other choice but to go out and take care of ourselves in the game of baseball.
What's your terminology coming up for this upcoming baseball season in 2027? That's going to be a lockout. That is owner-initiated. It's going to be a lockout. So keep that in mind coming up for the next season. Our birthday to the break today. In 1949, Mark Knopfler was born from the Dire Straits. He's a British museum. And taking us to the break, here's a little Skate Away. We'll be back after this.
In a rock and roll station, in a rock and roll dream. She's making movies on location. She don't know what it means, but the music make her wanna be the story. And the story was whatever was the song, what it was. Roller girl, don't worry, DJ play the movie.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better. And I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season, the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart. Only on Metro News Television.
That's going to do it for hour number 2. That means we're coming up on hour number 3 here in just a moment, and another big hour for you. Really looking forward to bringing it to you. Anthony Lewis is already here. He watched Rich Rod's press conference a little bit ago, so we'll talk about what Rich Rod was talking about, West Virginia's head coach, in his year number 2. And we'll also play a little in or out next hour. And after that, at the bottom of the hour, I think that Ryan and I are going to end up playing a little bit of Pick One. We're still trying to chase down Tony Caridi, so we'll see how that works out. This past hour, we had Steve Cotton and Abrar Al-Heeti. Really a pleasure to talk to both of them again. I like talking to Steve Cotton so much. He's been part of the Thundering Herd since the early 90s and really gives some great insights into that program. Good to check in with Steve at this point, getting into the football season right around the corner. And, of course, Abrar Al-Heeti was back for the first time in a couple of weeks, and it was good to check in on some of the tech stuff with her. So all of that stuff will be available on the podcast if you want to go back and check it out. Or if you're watching on video and you just want to back it up a little bit, you can do that as well on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you might be watching. Coming up next hour is Anthony Lewis. You're listening to Hotline on Metro News. Metro News is the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Tuesday's round of rain brought numerous flood reports from Point Pleasant to Charleston, near Beckley and Summersville. Daily rain records were achieved from Elkins to Parkersburg, Beckley, and Charleston, with more than 3 inches observed there. We also saw some widespread wind damage, a lot of those reports coming in across West Virginia. Fortunately, we'll see localized damaging winds still possible, but the widespread threat is waning. We still have a widespread flood watch in effect into Friday morning. Accumulation surpassing an inch for the areas in the lighter blue, that 1.5 inches toward Huntington, Charleston, Beckley. Meanwhile, eastern communities have less to worry about with additional heavy rain. But tonight, some storms may still produce some localized heavy gusts and some high rainfall. Those storms may track a little further north than this shows. And then for our Thursday, in the evening and into the overnight hours, we have a cold front swinging in from the north. Behind that front, quieting down Friday. FlyStar W forecast, it starts at home. We will be seeing cooler conditions if you're traveling towards Chicago. Meanwhile, a lot of hot and humid areas elsewhere, quieter towards Charlotte. For Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, you'll see overnight lows around 67 to Morgantown, closer to 70 for Moundsville, 84 there Thursday, 81 Morgantown, mid-60s to near 70 as we look east to Martinsburg, then 88 there on Thursday, 88 for Parkersburg as well, Elkins 66 overnight, Snowshoe 62, then a high of 74. We'll see mid-80s looking toward Point Pleasant, then looking south, mid-60s to low 70s overnight, and low to upper 80s for our Thursday. We will, as mentioned, see some improvement Friday afternoon into Saturday, then more rain late Sunday into Monday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
Dale Cooper in for hour number 3 of Metro News Hotline, filling in for Dave Weekley today. Dave will be back on on Monday of next week. So just a couple more days of me before Dave comes back. But having a great time with you guys. Hope that you enjoy listening to the program. I've had a really spirited, fast-moving show here today. Starting off talking about the beat backpack attack here in Charleston, and I've talked to Steve Cotton and Abrar Al-Heeti and Jeff Erickson. There's all kinds of stuff we've already gotten into today, and we're going to talk to Anthony Lewis coming up here in just a moment about more WVU sports, and then we'll play some in or out before we get ready to get out of here for the day. Let me go ahead and relaunch today's question of the day and get some of those responses a little bit later on. Question of the day today had to do with this thing that I read about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson told Rolling Stone that he is exploring a solo music career inspired by old school soul with some country flavor. Sounds like he's all over the place. He cited Sam Cooke, Elvis, George Jones, Merle Haggard, and Willie Nelson as his influences. Sounds to me like he was just trying to name some of the coolest artists that he can find. So Johnson can sing a little bit. He sings in the Moana soundtrack, the original one, and he has a song on the live-action crossover companion album. But my question today is, this Lingo Law question of the day, can you make up something worse than The Rock singing, or Steven Seagal, for example, singing, or The Shack as a leading man? Spin me a yarn and tell me, what is the worst celebrity crossover you can imagine? 304-825 855-5304, 304-TALK, 304. I would say something, Anthony, like Prince playing basketball, but I read this great long-form article about Prince last year that the dude was absolutely elite at basketball.
Yeah, he had the court in the house, and people, I guess he used to catch people off guard when he would ask if they would go play basketball. And apparently he was an avid roller skater or even like a roller blader as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've read the basketball thing. I was like, man, you didn't know that, but apparently he could ball pretty good.
Yeah, so apparently, like, because he had this weird habit of calling people at 2 o'clock in the morning, and to say his people would call people and they'd all come to Paisley Park. And then sometimes he would call in the band and they'd play. But then sometimes he would be like, all right, they'd get everybody there and they'd load in and like go to a movie theater or a roller rink. Yeah, he was, when you have the ability to put that much music out at once, your mind is not wired right. So he was an odd character for sure.
And I know that had to be exhausting to be part of his posse or his friends or whatever, but like to be a friend for a week would probably have been awesome.
Yeah. So I've listened to some podcasts, and I've listened to one where they did like an 8-part series, and about 6 of the episodes, his personal engineer was the guest. And she said, yeah, basically he would call if you went at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, you may not come home till Thursday at 5 o'clock. Like it might just be full tilt for like multiple days. So he was wired a little different.
Yeah, man. That's a crossover that it definitely did work out. I love the more I find out about that guy, the more interesting he is, though. Yeah. I mean, there's been a ton of stuff in his in posthumous information about him. Not embarrassing or anything, just like really interesting kind of things about the guy. But he was very private, and so didn't share a lot of it. So it's kind of interesting to find out.
Yeah, after his death, people started finally talking. They respected him enough to keep his personal life and everything about him quiet. And then after the fact, years later, people started kind of telling stories and, just about their time with him. Nothing crazy.
Was Anil Dash on that podcast that you were listening to?
It was put out by the estate, and the lady that hosts it is from the Minnesota Public Radio.
Nice.
So it's very well done.
That's nice.
And basically, they're just doing time capsules when they do the box sets of like Sign of the Times. It's like they'll put out these series and just have all the musicians and engineers telling stories about their time, putting the albums together.
I love that stuff. I love the history of. There's just a few artists that I'm like not a super fan like you, but big fans of, and just the more I find out about them, I just get fascinated by the nuances of their life and how people that have just these huge brains with talents in it, and the way they have to exercise it in different ways. It's not just songwriting; they have to do different things to explore that.
Yeah, musicians are like that. Coaches are like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
some of the most successful coaches are just wired a little different. I used to say that about John Beeline, and I think I've told this story on the show before, but John's memory was unbelievable. I met him at the press conference, and I didn't see him again until he kind of did the fundraising tour, like 6-8 weeks later. Just passed him in the Coliseum, and we were passing in the hallway, and I just, hey, coach, and he remembered my name. But that was 6 weeks later after an introduction. How many hands did he shake the day of his press conference? So it's some of these guys that are successful musically or through sports and have a system and the way they do things, have minds that are just wired a little different.
Yeah, you find that all over the place. That's definitely for sure. I know before we talked a little bit earlier today, you said you get a chance to watch Coach Rod before you came over here today. I was looking at some summaries of what he had to talk about. First of all, I've always loved that now, and even back when he was here before, I've always enjoyed his press conferences because I just think he's good at that part of the business and a lot better than some of the coaches that we had here in football recently. He's just he administers those things very good when he's up there doing his press conferences. One of the things he said earlier in the week, and I wanted to just run this by you because I was floored by this, but it makes a lot of sense. He went relatively long form in talking about how he's had to change players' expectations on fan interactions and being like, look, you guys are getting paid now. You're going to have to put up with some of that.
Yeah.
Before I would defend you tooth and nail. These are college kids in here playing, and it's not right. But you're getting paid now. You're basically this is a job, and people pay to come see you. You're going to have to put up with some of the people booing you or whatever it might be. And I was at first surprised, and then it makes sense. You do have to be aware of that.
Yeah. So I was in the same boat with him. I was one of those guys that years ago didn't think it was right to boo the players. I mean, there's things that happen, and you can boo the play call or
Right.
something like that. But now, and even at the beginning of NIL, I was like, well, they're still college kids. But when you're looking at guys that are making, $500,000, I mean, some of these guys are still second, third string, and they're making $50,000 to $60,000, $80,000. There's people in this building that don't make that kind of money.
Right.
So, yes, now you are professionals, and even if you watch one of the videos that they put out this week from WVU football, he starts it out talking about I'm going to treat you guys like professionals because you basically are now, and they are. I mean, this is kind of like single A ball in the pro level, you know.
Right.
Except for they're treated better than single A baseball players.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're making it's a great opportunity for young men and women. I mean, they're able to get money to live and live better than they did 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whenever I was working there, and then also take advantage of their time and their opportunity to get prepared for the next stage of their life. My nephew is at the University of Alabama. He just signed a 2-year NIL deal. I don't know all the ins and outs of his financial situation, but I do know, just from what I'm gathering, that he's pretty much starting life on second base.
Yeah.
And now I told him, I said, now's your opportunity. I said, you don't have to worry about if you take care of what they've given you, you don't have to worry about when you're 40 or 50 years old. Now you just focus on getting your degree and then working towards your next goal, which is to be a Major League Baseball pitcher. So it does kind of give them an opportunity to refocus their attention, and they're not stressed out. Or back in the day, the walk-ons couldn't eat in the cafeteria.
Right.
Just crazy rules, and these athletes are taken care of now, and they can focus on being a teammate and then also a student, and again taking advantage of the opportunity that's given with that degree.
I was thinking, I was talking to Carl Lee about this the other day, and one thing that kind of dawned on me, maybe say 15 years ago, and a guy was getting the Caleb Williams treatment where from a young age had a personal coach going on it, and family spending like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to coach the kid up to get to the league.
Right.
That was that wasn't going to pay off for you unless you got to the NFL.
Right.
Otherwise, it just wasn't going to work. The World League's not going to pay that off. The Canadian Football League's not going to pay that off. However, now you could have a 4 or 5 year career, whatever it might be, never set foot in an NFL stadium and come out of it paying that off.
Yeah.
You can come out of it and be okay. And frankly, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of college kids. Think about this. It used to be the thing, like look at like guys like Amos Zaraway and how many people left a year early to go pro.
Yeah, right.
Steve Slayton left his junior year to go pro. Now you see guys staying because they'll make more money at their next stop or at the school that they're going to play for, $6, $7, $8 million. But if they go pro, they're going to take a pay cut because they're going to be on a rookie contract. Right. So you're seeing guys stay in school longer and get degrees plus, and also too, they're making more money in college. What's the kid? Not Carson Palmer, the kid at Miami, the Georgia transfer. I'm getting old, so I'm forgetting these kids' names now. But he made more money at Miami than he would have been.
Beck, right?
Yeah, Carson Beck.
Yeah.
Than he would have if he would have gone to the league. So these guys are taking advantage of that, and good for them, because there was a period of time where, I mean, I've seen some of these guys really struggle as student athletes back 26, 27 years ago.
And to the point that you were talking about, there's been guys that definitely left college early, maybe even earlier than they would have, because they, even at a rookie contract or whatever it might be, they needed to get to the league.
Yeah.
Their family was in dire straits. I mean, different things like that. That story has happened many times.
Many times. I mean, I've witnessed it. I mean, I've seen guys leave early just because they got to take care of mom. And it's unfortunate because sometimes they never make it back to get their degree. What's the average length of time in the league?
Yeah,
2 years?
If you do make it.
Yeah, if you
exactly.
make it. So you just hope these guys are taking care of their money and doing the right things. I've seen already, just my coming back and visiting. I mean, a few years ago, I was out, and we were out during the spring game, and we ran into some of the players at the time, and a guy had like $10,000 cash on him. And, I was like, where's this kid get $10,000 cash?
Man.
But, he's no longer there, and I hope he still has that $10,000 cash
somewhere. Yeah, right.
somewhere, instead of his pocket.
a couple minutes left here before we have to take a break to get to in or out, but I did want to talk specifically about a couple of the things from the press conference today. One of the things that looks like that Coach Rodriguez talked about quite a bit was developing the secondary with young talent, and he seemed to indicate that he really had a problem with how we defended against larger receivers last year, and really wanted to address that.
Yeah, so the whole defensive backfield has been kind of replaced, and they've gotten bigger and more physical. I mean, you know, obviously you need guys that can run, but when you're getting mossed, so to speak, like it's, right. You know, the guys are just going up. It's not that you're out of position, but your guy is only 5'9", and you're trying to guard a guy that's 6'4". That's an issue. So bigger, stronger defensive backs looks like the way that they've gone, and I'll be curious to see how it plays out, especially in this league. You know, in the Big 12, it's a pass-happy league. You don't see a lot of running the football. Guys are throwing the ball 20, 30, 40 times a game. So having bigger corners and bigger safeties and guys that can run will pay dividends. And last year, there were times I thought early, you got to remember, they came in late. They kind of just had a hodgepodge of guys out there. And there were times there were blown coverages, but there were times where they just simply got out jumped, or, you know, just couldn't cover the guy because the size difference. So I feel like that was something they addressed specifically in this draft class. When we talk about one of the things that I saw a quote from this press conference today, and that Coach Rodriguez talks about a lot, I like the way that he talks about how he requires engagement from his players without necessarily needing somebody to be the guy that's the rah-rah guy in the locker room. Like he wants everybody to be leaders on the field and to be 100% engaged at all times. That seems kind of unique in what you hear from coaches these days, and it seems like that in this era that we're in, that's sort of like next man up, everybody at the same, seems to be what we need to tap into. Yeah, so he's always been like that. He did not like the second string, third string guys goofing off on the sideline. He wants you fully engaged in the game, because you don't know when you're the next guy up. I mean, how many times did we see it last year? Quarterbacks get dinged, tailbacks get dinged. And if you're not engaged in the game, you just don't know what's going on when it's your time. So he's always been that way. He's wanted you to pay attention. He doesn't like a lot of chatter at practice. He's very businesslike in practice as well. I mean, they don't do 2, 3, 4 hour practices. I think they do 70-minute maybe practice. I mean, their practices aren't long, maybe
short
90
but hard.
minutes.
Yeah,
but they go, and and they want you to handle your business on the field. So full engagement and is something he's always kind of, I don't want to say harped on, but that's been his thing.
I know hope springs eternal, but I've always been a fan of Coach Rodriguez. I'm glad he's back at West Virginia. I'm looking forward to seeing what this team does. I mean, we always say it, but I'm looking forward to see what this team does next year. It's year 2 of this sort of rebuild. I think that he has a good vision for the NIL era of what Mountaineer football could look like. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. We'll see what happens.
I am too. You know, this season kind of reminds me of between the 01-02 season, where they went 4 and at the time was it 4-7 or whatever it was, and then they had the total reversal. Or it was 3-8, and then they went 8-3 the next season. So I feel like this feels that way. Like he's more comfortable with the guys, and his coaching style and his play calls and the way his culture is a total 180 from what Neil Brown's was. So it always, and even Coach Nealon, Nealon, especially at the end of his career, wasn't as intense as he was in 1982.
Right.
So there was a 180, approach, and sometimes it just takes a full trip around the sun to get it moving in the right direction.
Makes a lot of sense. Anthony Lewis with us again this week. Always appreciate his insights into Mountaineer football. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll play a little bit of In or Out.
You can call us at 800-765-8255. Text us at 304-825-5304. Or tweet at WEEKLEY. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows for Talk Line on Metro News Television. Sports Line on Metro News Television.
I was sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? Sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
It is 5:25, 5 minutes until the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Metro News Hotline. It's time to play In or Out. In or Out today is going to be, the panel is going to be me, Ryan Nicholson is here, and Anthony Lewis is here as well. This is the game we play every day where we have three categories of topics of which change daily. We call it In or Out. We start with food, go to gut reaction, and then we end things with celebrity. So today we're going to start with the food, and I want to know what you guys think about the Tajin Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Taco Bell is teaming up with Tajin and Mexican movie star Peso Puma for a new limited time menu launching on Thursday. That's tomorrow. The lineup includes Tajin seasoned taco beef and mango salsa, a Tajin Cheesy Gordita Crunch, and Tajin Pineapple Strawberry Freeze. Ryan, the Tajin Cheesy Gordita Crunch, in or out?
It sounds good on paper, but I'd have to go to Taco Bell to eat it, which that's going to be an out for me.
Just get it without lettuce if it comes on there, and you should be all right as far as that goes. Prices range from about $3 to $6. The chain's also dropping a limited Tajin-themed bag charm set through app rewards, but only 400 are available. The Cheesy Gordita Crunch, Anthony, in or out?
I'm not much of a Taco Bell consumer these days anyway, but then anything super cheesy I'm out on, so I'm going to be out on Taco Bell and on the Cheesy Gordita.
I like Taco Bell okay, but my thing with this is the Tajin. We bought some because it was all the rage a few years ago, so we bought some to keep around the house because, like, oh, we can add this to this. Everything I've added it to, I hate.
Yeah.
So I'm just assuming I'm not going to like this, so I'm going to have to be out on this. I don't think I'm going to like it. Tahini, by the way, is a bright, punchy, dehydrated lime followed by coarse sea salt and a subtle, smoky background heat from mild chilies. That sounds good, but it's not great for me when I try to add it to something. Have you ever had it, Ryan?
I have had it, and I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah, I don't. It seems like it would be good, but I don't like it. Okay, gut reaction. I've talked about this a little bit already today because I had to get Abrar Al-Heeti's take on this, but a tech reporter requested his personal data from McDonald's under the California privacy law and got back a 515-page dossier. The report didn't just log years of orders, it predicted his future behavior, forecasting how many times he'd visit in the next 6 weeks, how much he'd spend, even his favorite item down to drink size. It rated his odds of ever quitting the chain at 0%. Ryan, app tracking through fast food, in or out? For the deal. App tracking for the deal, in or out?
I do appreciate that McDonald's was very transparent with the fact that they're spying on all their customers.
State law in California, right?
But it doesn't make it any less creepy.
Right.
So I'm going to be super out.
Super out on that. Let's see. Privacy experts do say that this level of tracking is standard for loyalty programs. Anthony, app tracking for deals, in or out?
So as a digital marketing professional, I am actually in on this, although just because it's what I do for a living. But if you think that's creepy, I mean, you'd be shocked at what your IP address and everything you do on your phone and what you're watching on YouTube and whatever you search for. Just pay attention when you're talking around your phone, what pops up on your social media. So I'll be in on this.
That makes sense to me, and I understand just like commercials on radio. Hey, man, everybody talks about, I love commercials. Are you kidding me? I love commercials. I know exactly where you're coming from. I'm slightly out because of the creepy factor. It's not just a loyalty program. It's because I know they can also sell that, and other people can get it, and then you combine these data, and that, to me, is the problem. Not so much McDonald's themselves, but the residual effects of all that. Celebrity today is Lyle Lovett, but we don't have time for him. Anthony, thanks for your time. I
Good
appreciate
seeing
it.
you guys.
We'll be back in just a few minutes with Tony Caridi. We'll be back after this.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Tuesday's round of rain brought numerous flood reports from Point Pleasant to Charleston, near Beckley and Summersville. Daily rain records were achieved from Elkins to Parkersburg, Beckley, and Charleston, with more than 3 inches observed there. We also saw some widespread wind damage, a lot of those reports coming in across West Virginia. Fortunately, we'll see localized damaging winds still possible, but the widespread threat is waning. We still have a widespread flood watch in effect into Friday morning. Accumulation surpassing 1 inch for the areas in the lighter blue, that 1.5 inches toward Huntington, Charleston, Beckley. Meanwhile, eastern communities have less to worry about with additional heavy rain. But tonight, storms may still produce some localized heavy gusts and some high rainfall. Those storms may track a little further north than this shows. And then for our Thursday, in the evening and into the overnight hours, we have a cold front swinging in from the north, behind that front quieting down Friday. FlyStar W forecast, it starts at home. We will be seeing cooler conditions if you're traveling towards Chicago. Meanwhile, a lot of hot and humid areas elsewhere, quieter towards Charlotte. For our Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, you'll see overnight lows around 67 in Morgantown, closer to 70 for Moundsville, 84 there Thursday, 81 Morgantown, mid-60s to near 70 as we look east to Martinsburg, then 88 there on Thursday, 88 for Parkersburg as well, Elkins 66 overnight, Snowshoe 62, then a high of 74. We'll see mid-80s looking toward Point Pleasant, then looking south, mid-60s to low 70s overnight, and low to upper 80s for our Thursday. We will, as mentioned, see some improvement Friday afternoon into Saturday, then more rain late Sunday into Monday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it. So I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's
me too.
a great point.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
You're listening to Metro News Hotline. I'm Dale Cooper. It is 27 minutes until 6 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks to Anthony Lewis, who was just in here talking a little bit about Mountaineer sports. But we're going to bring in Tony Caridi now and really dive down a little bit into West Virginia sports. Tony, just a week away from his Inside the Huddle appearance here in Charleston that we was the crowd opener for. We worked the crowd for him, the empty crowd beforehand. And Tony joins us here today. How you doing today, Tony?
I'm awesome, Coop. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Grand Poobah is on vacation doing his thing down in Florida, and I'm just kind of hanging out here in the studio.
That's good. That's good. It's always fun when the substitute teacher gets to take over the classroom. It's always an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it's a good time. You know, I have no complaints with it. Everything going all right in the Caridi land?
Everything's good. Yeah, busy day. We watched football practice, had a Rich Rodriguez press conference earlier today, and then recorded a Three Guys Before the Game, which I'm just getting ready to post up here in the next 90 minutes. And we had the big news of the day. West Virginia's basketball program has regained the services of Brennan Lorient, very talented member of last year's team, has once again committed to West Virginia. The story here is that it appeared as though his eligibility was completed at the end of the season, but because of the new rulings and the 5 to play 5 that the NCAA has put forth, he has said that he will come back to West Virginia. Now, a few issues here that need to be resolved. One, you have a class action lawsuit that we're all awaiting word on that's coming out of a Colorado court, and then an individual lawsuit that he has filed as well to gain his eligibility that at some point is going to be heard here in West Virginia in federal court. So the long and the short of it is he's going to come back to play for West Virginia, provided the legal loopholes are cleared. And that's a massive, massive piece to this West Virginia basketball team. He's a kid that only played 61 minutes in his freshman season when he was at Florida Atlantic. And really, he kind of wasted a year. And so this new rule is perfectly suited for him. He played his last couple of years for Ross Hodge and played for him at North Texas, played for him here at WVU last year. So that is a very, very significant piece of news.
That is a good piece of news, and I know that we were kind of waiting for that a little bit. And hearing you explain all that, what you do so well, and having to follow the background on all these things now, it's just amazing to me that we now have to be like lay legal experts in order to convey some of these opinions.
That has become a part of following this because this thing has become so litigated. And, we could get into a super long conversation, Coop, that, years ago when the NCAA would put a rule in, people would just accept the rule and schools would accept the rule. That turned, and you could probably go back and kind of chart the progress of this, but at some point, within the last 8 years or so, schools and individuals just started to go like, no, I'm not going to abide by that. Taking different matters to court, and consistently the courts ruled in favor of the student athletes. When that started to happen that's when all of this change started to begin. And that's how we got eventually to the House settlement. And now we're still trying to dot I's and cross T's as to what all of these new rules and all of these settlements mean. And we're still in the, very early stages of hammering out what the new world is going to operate and be like. But at this point, we don't have it locked in yet. And as a result, you're getting more and more lawsuits.
Yeah. These will shake out eventually, and maybe it will simplify things a little bit.
I think it will. I do. I think it will.
We'll get standard practices in place again, and maybe they'll make things a little easier. I wanted to talk a little bit about, though, I was reading the transcript as I could of Rodriguez's press conference today, and one of the things that he was talking about, he's usually very close to the vest on most things that he discusses, and I thought he opened up just a little bit talking about the quarterbacks. From what I could tell, he's having a little bit of not trouble evaluating, but he's kind of wondering to himself between the difference of protecting these guys in practice and during scrimmages, or having them go live where he can evaluate their real-time decision-making a little bit more. Seems like that's a place that he's having a little heartburn at.
Yeah, I think that means that Saturday coming up here on the 15th and then the following Saturday, the 22nd, those are going to be significant days for the quarterbacks and for everyone, but specifically for the quarterbacks. I think that he'll let them get out there and go because he needs to see which one of those guys best operates his offense. And, it's all interconnected, right? The offense and the defense and special teams are all separate units, but reality is if his offense is running properly and is in rhythm, that lessens the stress on his defense. They don't have to play as many snaps. If he is possessing the ball, it impacts special teams as well. And so I think he is still, waiting anxiously to see which operates his offense best. But to be quite honest with you, I think overall he feels good that he is going to have an offense that is a good, solid offense, a quote-unquote Rich Rodriguez offense, where I think a year ago he never had that feel in his heart that it could run the way that he has seen it run and the way that he knows that is needed to run in order to win games. So I think the big picture is he feels good about it, and now he's just waiting to see exactly how that plays out.
Fans probably talk about it. A coach probably wouldn't come right out and say this, especially when you're coming into to a school or coming back to a school in Rodriguez's case last year. But my feeling on this as well is that there's no way that roster that he ended up with last year going into the season is anywhere near the roster that he even thought that he could put together. That there was just so many moving parts, and starting from virtually from zero. There has to be a feeling this year going in that although it's just year 2 or year 1.5 or whatever you want to call it, that there's got to be more consistency there, and he has to have more confidence in the guys that he does have that they're going to play his style of ball.
Correct, because these are the ones that he chose and had a long time in order to make the decision, whereas when he took over, a year ago last December, it was who is available, and you're relegated to, at that point, you're just jumping in. You don't, in some cases, have any existing relationship with those folks that you're bringing in because you just need bodies. And in this particular case, they had a complete year to highlight guys. They were watching guys that were on other teams. They're watching high school guys. They're watching guys in junior college. And so at this time, this roster reflects more of they know exactly what they needed, body type wise, position type, and they had so much of a better opportunity to, create relationships, to do a better back check on these guys. And as a result of that, you have a better, more talented roster. But again, as Rich would tell you, and any coach will tell you, the potential is there, but that means zero. They have to execute well. They have to play well together, and that is what remains to be seen.
That's good stuff, as always, from Tony Caridi, the longtime play-by-play voice of the West Virginia Mountaineers, joining us here as he does most Wednesdays at 5:33 when can fit in his schedule. Busy times, especially with football season right around the corner. Tony, I appreciate your time and joining us again today, giving us a breakdown a little bit of what Coach Rod talked about, but also breaking the big news about basketball, because I know that's something that folks were waiting around for.
Yeah, and we encourage folks, if they're three guys, listeners, they want to have a good in-depth insight to what Ross Hodge is thinking, that'll be out in the next 90 minutes.
Great. You can check that out over at all the various outlets, Metro News TV, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can find it. You can find it to watch. Tony, we appreciate your time today as always.
Thank you, Coop.
We'll talk to you later on. Tony Caridi joining us again today. Appreciate Tony's time as always. We need to take a break. We'll come back and wrap up the show right after this.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows for Talkline on Metro News Television. Sportsline on Metro News Television.
I was sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? Sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another grand on them tomorrow.
It is 14 minutes to the top of the hour. We have a few minutes to play a round of Pick One. This is a game that Ryan and I play. Usually it's Dave and I. We'll play this game where we take the fact that we know each other really well and try to present options that make it difficult for us to choose. Sometimes they're good options, sometimes they're bad options, but you have to choose one, and that's what we're going today. We're going to pick one. Ryan, I'm going to let you go first and quiz me. Let's get started.
All right. So in the realm of public transportation, there's this eerie specter that rears its ugly head every once in a while called a monorail.
Oh, yes.
Monorails are notoriously difficult to maintain and are often more trouble than they're worth to build. People often spend more on maintenance alone than actually building the thing, and so it's only for the truly richest communities, like Disney World. So pick one for a public transportation system. Would you rather have a monorail or a classic wire trolley?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think that the answer is going to be the monorail.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because it's the shiny toy, but also I think as far as city planning and traffic goes, trolleys you have to account for on normal city traffic in the streets and stuff, whereas monorails have their own infrastructure for traveling.
Yeah.
And I think that would make it a little simpler. So I think I'll go with the monorail.
All right. Keeping on the theme of monorails, Disney World.
Okay.
One of Disney World's most recent animatronics was one of Walt Disney himself. Now, Walt Disney famously said before he died, "Please, for the love of God, don't turn me into an animatronic. Please, I don't want to be an animatronic. It's like parading my corpse around. Please don't make me an animatronic." And about a century later, they're like, let's make an animatronic out of this guy. So pick one. If you were immortalized in a theme park, would you rather be an animatronic or a walk-around character? That's a person in like a walk-around costume.
Interesting. Did they use Walt Disney's real head on the animatronic? Isn't that supposed to be separated from him?
They didn't use the actual head, but it's very much modeled after it.
Let's see. Would I rather be an animatronic or a walk-around character? I think in Gravitas, if they make an animatronic out of you, that means that you held an important role at some point in time. Mm-hmm. Animatronic or the walk-around character, they could be passing. You know, you could have like a current franchise that's doing well that makes an appearance and they get retired later on. I know they retire their animatronics, but if they're going through the all of the rigmarole to get it up there, I'm going to go with the animatronic.
All right. Now, a while back, I tried this candy. Shakalicious gummies, which are little gummy candies shaped like Shaquille O'Neal. Now
they're exactly as they sound. Okay.
Yes, and I didn't like them personally because the texture was so weird, because it was like molded so that there were pores on the head of the Shaquille O'Neal gummy, and I found it very off-putting.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
So pick one. Would you rather have gummies shaped after you or cookies shaped after you?
Cookies, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I like gummies, okay, but everybody loves cookies, and who wouldn't want a cookie named after them, right? And plus, I like animal cookies, and I'm an animal, so you just add me to the animal cookies. I'd live with that. Yeah,
All
definitely
right.
cookies.
Now, back in the day when America was in its infancy, there was a debate on what the national bird should be.
Oh, okay.
Now, ultimately, the eagle won out.
Right.
But there were other considerations, two of which are the turkey and the dove. So pick one. Besides the eagle, which would you prefer as the national bird, the turkey or the dove?
I think what Benjamin Franklin wrote about the turkey ends up being a little bit apocryphal. I'm not sure that it can be completely sourced to him. However, I love the story behind that and him talking about how the turkey should be the national bird. And I've always sort of agreed with him, even if it's not an actual quote of statements that came from him. So, I got to kind of go with the turkey, man. I think the turkey is a robust bird that you can also eat. So, that there's good things with that.
And is brave enough to charge a regiment of redcoats.
That's true. That's right.
Now, this one, I really phoned it in here. I just was out of creativity with this one. So pick one, peanuts or cashews.
You sound like my daughter. She says that all the time. I'm out of creativity. I'm out of creativity. Peanuts or cashews. Man, I make fun of you for being the trash panda of peanuts, but the truth of the matter is peanuts are probably my favorite nut.
Yeah.
So regardless of the style of peanut, I still got to go with peanuts there. I love peanuts.
It's
man.
our favorite nut, despite the fact that it's technically a legume.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. All right. Is it my turn?
Yep.
All right. Let's reverse this. We'll go to Ryan. We have about 3 minutes left here. Let's see what we can get through. Okay, pick one. You must produce one of these two things. Pick which one you would produce. The Rock's upcoming album, which was inspired apparently by Sam Cooke, Elvis, and George Jones, or you have to run point on Mr. Beast's next filming location. Which do you choose to do?
Here's the thing. This is actually deceptively easy because I take moral issue with Mr. Beast as a creator. I think he exploits the people under him, and I don't appreciate that. So I work with audio, so it might not be the hardest thing to work with The Rock on his album.
Okay.
It might not be great to listen to, but I know how to work with it, so I'll pick The Rock's album.
The Rock's album, that works. Okay. Let's see. What sci-fi universe... Now, this question usually goes a lot of different ways. Would you prefer to live in, yada, yada, yada. So what sci-fi universe are you more likely to be able to commandeer a ship in? Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm going to say, Star Trek only because each season has an episode where the ship gets hijacked. That's like a running thing.
When I wrote this, I was thinking the exact same thing. Technology-wise, when you look at it, it should be Star Wars. That should happen all the time. But the fact of the matter is, there's always starships being taken over in Star Trek.
Yeah, and even if you take over a starship in Star Wars, it's one X-wing that's fitted for one person.
Yeah, that's true. It could be a Star Destroyer, but
maybe.
Okay, let's see. Question number 3: what's a more iconic Tom Hanks line from a movie? There's no crying in baseball, or Wilson.
I'm gonna have to go with Wilson because, admittedly, I haven't seen the other one.
A League of Their Own, but
yeah.
I hear you there. Okay, yeah, Wilson. I love. I've only seen that movie a couple times, but I really like it, and the Wilson thing always gets me. Okay, let's see. What TV show most needs a final season redo? Lost or Game of Thrones?
I'm gonna have to go with Lost because I actually know about that show and I've never seen Game of Thrones.
There you go. Okay. And then we're going to pull this in time. If you had to pick one gaming franchise that would forever be forgotten along with all of its pop culture influences, would you grudgingly let go of Dungeons and Dragons or Pokemon?
Oh, this is a disgusting question. This is terrible. Dale Cooper.
I crafted it just for you.
This is the most uncomfortable question, but I think I'm leaning towards Pokemon because I have core childhood memories of it, and relatively Dungeons and Dragons is a more recent interest. So
okay.
I'll have to pick Pokemon, but please don't make me pick something like this again.
I knew that one would get you. I'm glad we got to it. So that's pick one. We got it in on time. How about that? It is 5 minutes until the top of the hour. We have one more break to take. Let's do that now. You're listening to Hotline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer golf coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season, the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart. Only on Metro News Television.
That's it. Sportsline's up next. Thanks for tuning into the show today. I'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Hotline. Weekly, once again, we'll be back on Monday. Thanks to Ryan Nicholson, my producer. Have a great day, everyone, on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.